Hello and welcome back to another breaking news update. My name is Jimmy Boyd and you were watching Boyd News. I want to thank you so much for tuning in today. I have some breaking news coming out here for you. So it looks like we're going to start seeing attacks on U.S. troops throughout the Middle East once again, that this is going to start up. So I have a report here coming out that Kataib Hezbollah has announced they are resuming attacks on U.S. forces, as yesterday we had an attack on the Kataib Hezbollah base in Syria. This is in northeastern Syria that houses U.S. troops, and it came under attack by supposedly at least 5 rockets. We had video footage online as well that's unconfirmed, so I'm not going to show it at this time, of rockets going through the air, supposedly coming from Iraq towards Syria. And we know that the Kataib Hezbollah group, they operate in Iraq, and there's also the Islamic Resistance in Iraq, and both of those groups are Iranian-backed, okay? So we had, 150 or more attacks throughout the months of, I believe it was December to somewhere around March of this year. And the attacks stopped. They stopped at one point because Iran called on these proxies to halt their attacks, as they were afraid the U.S. was going to retaliate heavily, because at some point the U.S. launched a major attack throughout Syria and Iraq, bombing multiple areas using long-range bombers. So it was like a major attack by the U.S., and I think that kind of spooked Iran a little bit to call on their groups to stop attacking U.S. bases. Well, now, again, we've got a report here that it looks like at least Kataib Hezbollah is going to resume attacks on U.S. bases. So we're going to talk a little bit about this base that came under attack. And then we're also going to talk about the fact that the Kataib Hezbollah group said they're going to resume their attacks. So let's go ahead and get right into this. This is on The Guardian, okay? Iraq militant group says it is resuming attacks on U.S. forces as base in Syria is targeted. First attack on U.S. forces since February comes days after Iraq's prime minister returns from U.S. visit. An Iraqi militant group has said it will resume attacks on U.S. forces in the country as it appeared to claim responsibility for a strike on an American military base in northeastern Syria, which saw at least 5 rockets launched from the Iraqi town of Zumar. Sunday's strike against U.S. forces is the first since early February, when Iranian-backed groups in Iraq stopped their attacks against U.S. troops. So, it was actually February when this happened, when they stopped their attacks. It comes one day after Iraq's Prime Minister Mohammed Shia al-Sudani returned from a visit to the United States and met with Joe Biden at the White House. Iraq's Kataib Hezbollah said Iraqi armed groups had decided to resume attacks on the U.S. presence in the country after seeing little progress on talks to achieve the exit of American troops during al-Sudani's visit to Washington. So apparently they're trying to push U.S. troops out of Iraq, and that's why they're putting the military pressure now, launching these attacks on these bases to try to push the U.S. out. And I guess that's why, according to this, why al-Sudani visited Washington, to try to see if they can get the troops out of Iraq, or the U.S. troops, that is. What happened a short while ago is just the beginning, the group said. Rami Abdel Rahman, director of the Syrian Observatory for Human Rights War Monitor, said several rockets had been fired from Iraqi territory at the Kataib Hezbollah base in northeast Syria, where U.S. forces are stationed. A statement from the Iraqi security forces accused outlaw elements of having targeted a base of the international coalition with rockets in the heart of Syrian territory at about 9:50 p.m. local time. So Zumar is right here. Apparently these rockets came from this region, and the base is somewhere over here. I know it's in the northeastern portion of Syria, okay, so not too far away. And I think it's interesting here because the statement from the Iraqi security forces, they said outlaw elements of having targeted a base of international coalition with rockets in the heart of Syrian territory. They said outlaw elements. They didn't say necessarily it was Kataib Hezbollah or any Iranian-backed group. They just said outlaw elements. But apparently Kataib Hezbollah is claiming responsibility for this attack. Iraqi forces responded to the attack by launching a major search operation in northern Nineveh, I don't know if I'm saying that right, province, which found the vehicle used in the attack, they said in a statement. Security forces burned the vehicle involved, the statement added. After a series of rocket attacks and drone strikes by pro Iran armed factions against U.S. soldiers deployed in the Middle East in the early part of the year, there had been several weeks of calm. In January, a drone attack killed 3 U.S. soldiers in the Jordanian desert on the Syrian border. In response, the U.S. military struck dozens of targets in Iraq and Syria, aiming for pro-Iran forces and drawing criticism from the government of both countries. The United States has about 2,500 soldiers stationed in Iraq and nearly 900 across the border in Syria as part of an international coalition created in 2014 to fight the Islamic State group. All right, so according to that report, as I said, looks like Kataib Hezbollah is going to pick up their attacks here again. And wouldn't surprise me if we see Islamic resistance in Iraq doing the same thing. But many of these attacks I remember that were happening towards the beginning of the year and late last year, they were coming from Kataib Hezbollah. Lots of the attacks where I remember reporting on quite a few of these at the beginning of the year. So yeah, they're going to continue their attacks here on U.S. troops, and this is only going to continue to ramp up tensions and flare things up. And hopefully we don't have more U.S. troops getting killed here again, because remember we just had that back in was that in January or February? I can't remember what month it was. It wasn't too long ago, where we had that attack on that base in Jordan. I think it was in northeastern Jordan or something, and it got attacked by some drones. And there was like a major drone that landed in like the living quarters at the base, and there was 3 U.S. soldiers that were killed, and there was like 40 others that were wounded. It was a major attack coming from one of these Iranian-backed groups. So it looks like we're going to continue to see that again, and hopefully we don't get more U.S. troops getting killed in the Middle East, only because this is going to flare tensions even more, okay? It's only going to create another massive response from the United States. Should Joe Biden want to do that, I know for the most part he's been pretty weak in terms of response. But it wouldn't surprise me if there is another major attack in the Middle East. And again, it's only going to create worse tensions throughout the Middle East when things are already on fire, okay? It's only going to add more fuel to the fire is what I'm trying to say. So I got a couple things I just want to show you real quick here on X. Okay, we'll take a look at these real quick. So a couple posts. This is from IWN, okay, Islamic World News. Local sources reported the occurrence of 3 explosions in the Karab al-Jur base in the north of Hasaka province. This base is under U.S. occupation. So I wanted to show you this because it has a map to kind of show you where this base is located. So here it is right here in this white circle. And look how close it is to the Iraq border. Okay, it's very close. And that town of Zamar is going to be down here somewhere, a little bit further down, I believe. So yeah, they launched these rockets from this area over here and targeted that base. All right. And also, this is from Liz Frieden. Okay, she has an update for us. She's a Fox News Pentagon producer. So she came out with a report saying, new, following reports of a rocket attack on a U.S. base in Syria, a U.S. official tells Fox News 5+ rockets were fired from Iraq into Syria near a U.S. base. No U.S. service members were killed or injured, and there was no damage to the base. It is unclear if the base was the target. So what we're hearing different things here. We're hearing the Iraqi government saying that these were outlaws, that it wasn't necessarily Kataib Hezbollah, and then we're hearing here from Fox News, Liz Frieden, this Pentagon producer, that it was unclear if the base was even a target. Supposedly it wasn't even hit. There was no damage. No members were killed, which is a good thing. But most likely it was the target, okay? If the rockets came nearby the base and it was relatively close by, whether they struck the base or not, I would believe, and I'm sure most of you could probably agree, it was probably the base that came under attack, especially if we have Kataib Hezbollah coming out and announcing that they're taking responsibility for this attack. It adds up too much to the point where you can't deny that. So I don't know. Let me know what you think down below. That's going to be it for this update, though. I just want to let you know that it looks like we're going to be doing more reports on these bases coming under attack in the Middle East. That's U.S. bases. And again, hopefully we don't have more U.S. troops being killed in the Middle East. I know many people say, well, they shouldn't be there anyway. And okay, I agree with you to an extent. They shouldn't be there. There's no reason for us to be there. But obviously there's a lot of political reasons and a lot of other things too that the government has control of that keeps these people there to protect certain assets or whatever. That's not in our control for the most part. So, yeah, so let me know what you think down below. Get ready for some more reports on attacks on U.S. bases. So if you got something out of this update, please smash that like button. And also, if you enjoy my content, please consider subscribing down below and hit the notification bell. That way YouTube can notify you. And with that, I hope you all have a great day. Everybody take care and God bless. And we'll see you in the next one.